Imagine this. It's the summer of 2026. 48 countries, 16 cities across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Over 5 million international visitors flooding into places like New York, Miami, Los Angeles, and Dallas. The biggest sporting event on planet Earth is happening right here, the FIFA World Cup. And somewhere in that crowd, a regular person, not a banker, not an investor, not someone with a degree in finance, is quietly making more money in 6 weeks than they normally make in 6 months. Not because they had connections, not because they had capital, but because they understood one simple thing that most people miss every single time a golden opportunity walks right past them. Here's what that thing is. There's a pattern that plays out every time a massive economic event happens. Whether it's the Super Bowl, the Olympics, or a World Cup, the same psychological mistake happens to the majority of people. They watch. They say, wow, someone is making a lot of money from this. And then they do nothing. Because in their mind, opportunity is something that belongs to other people. People with more money, more connections, more experience. Psychologists actually have a name for this. It's called the bystander effect, applied to money. When everyone around us seems passive, our brain tells us that it must not be our place to act either. The crowd is standing still, so we stand still. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Every major global event creates what economists call a demand shock. A sudden, temporary, massive spike in what people need and what they're willing to pay for it. Hotels fill up in hours. Flights triple in price. And suddenly, normal things, a spare room, a car, a food cart, a local tour, become extraordinarily valuable. The people who profit aren't the ones with the most resources. They're the ones who simply show up and say, I have something people need right now. So let's talk about the FIFA 2026 Gold Rush and the 9 real, offline, business-style opportunities that almost nobody in your circle is preparing for. Opportunity 1. Your home becomes a hotel. You know how hotels near stadiums during the World Cup are going to cost $400, $500, even $700 a night? That creates a gap. And gaps are where money lives. If you have a spare room, or even a couch, a garage, a basement, platforms like Airbnb and VRBO let you turn that space into income. A room that normally earns $80 a night can command $300 to $700 during tournament weeks. This happened in Qatar in 2022. It happened during the Paris Olympics. The pattern is consistent. You are not selling a room. You are selling proximity and availability when both are scarce. Opportunity 2. Your car becomes a rental fleet. Millions of tourists arrive in cities they've never been to. They need to move around. But rental car companies run out of inventory fast, and prices go insane. This is where Turo comes in, a platform that lets you rent your personal car to other people. During major events, economy cars that normally earn $30 a day can earn $150. SUVs and vans earn even more. No car? Some people in past events partnered with car owners, offering to handle logistics and customer coordination in exchange for a profit split. Not glamorous, but effective. Opportunity 3. The ticket arbitrage game. This one requires the most research, but the returns can be remarkable. Tickets for group stage games are affordable early in the sales process. As the tournament progresses and demand spikes, resale platforms like StubHub and SeatGeek see prices multiply. High-demand knockout matches have historically resold at 2, 5, even 10 times face value. The psychology here is key. People make emotional, impulsive decisions when their team isn't a match they want to see. Rational price analysis goes out the window. That impulse is, for the prepared seller, income. This requires timing, research, and understanding which matches will generate demand. It carries risk. But for those who study it, the upside is real. Opportunity 4. Food, the oldest hustle in the book. Fans gather outside stadiums hours before matches. They wait in fan zones. They stand in the sun or the rain. And they get hungry and thirsty. A food cart selling burgers, hot dogs, cold drinks, tacos, or even country-themed snacks near a fan zone can do extraordinary volume on match days. Even something as simple as a cooler with cold water and soft drinks in a high-traffic area can generate serious cash with almost zero overhead. This is one of the oldest economic principles in history. Find where people concentrate. Bring what they want. The event creates the foot traffic for you. Opportunity 5. Get paid to show up. Here's one that requires zero entrepreneurial risk. Large events hire thousands of temporary workers, security personnel, ticket scanners, cleaners, shuttle drivers, hotel staff, crowd coordinators, translators. Platforms like Indeed and ZipRecruiter will be listing these positions months before the tournament begins. The pay is competitive, the hours are intense but finite, and you don't need a business idea or upfront capital. You just need to apply early. No audience, no followers, no product, just your time turned into cash. Opportunity 6. The Local Expert Premium. Here's something fascinating about tourists. They don't just want to see the game. They want to experience the city. They want to eat where locals eat. They want to find the best bar to watch the match. They want someone to tell them how to get from their hotel to the stadium without getting lost or overcharged. Platforms like Viator and Get Your Guide let you list local experiences for a fee. You could offer a best cheap food near the stadium walking tour, or a nightlife football fan experience, or simply stadium transport guidance for people arriving in an unfamiliar city. Tourists pay a premium for local knowledge. That knowledge already lives in your head. The event creates the demand for it. Opportunity 7. The Merchandise Wave. Every World Cup creates the same scene. Fans everywhere, draped in flags, wearing scarves, painting their faces, buying anything that connects them emotionally to the moment. You can source football merchandise, scarves, flags, hats, jerseys, face paint, whistles, at wholesale cost through platforms like Alibaba or local wholesale distributors. Then sell it outside fan zones, near bars, near public viewing areas. The markup is significant. More importantly, the buying psychology is pure emotion. Fans aren't calculating value when their team just scored. They're reaching for their wallet because it feels right in the moment. That emotional spending is predictable, and predictable behavior is exploitable in the most ethical sense of the word. Opportunity 8. Sell without a physical presence. Here's one for people who don't live near a host city or who prefer to work from home. Print-on-demand platforms like Printful and Printify allow you to design products, t-shirts, posters, phone cases, hoodies, and sell them through Etsy with zero inventory. When a customer orders, the platform prints and ships automatically. Think USA 2026 designs, country fan shirts, retro football posters, funny football memes, fan artwork. The startup cost is almost zero, and the window for sales runs from now through the entire tournament. People who ran this model during previous World Cups and Euros have shared earnings in the thousands, purely from digital designs and automated fulfillment. You build it once. The tournament does the marketing for you. Opportunity 9. The Matchday Street Economy. For those in or near host cities, New York, Los Angeles, Miami, Dallas, Seattle, Boston, the streets around stadiums on match days become something resembling a temporary open-air market. Face painting, selling flags, cold drinks, tourist photo opportunities, parking assistance, directing confused visitors, legal merchandise. These things sound small, but multiply them over 6 weeks across dozens of matches in cities where tens of thousands of people are moving around in an unfamiliar place, and you start to see the picture. Every major sporting event in modern history has created these temporary street economies. People with no business background, no following, and no special skills have walked away from Super Bowls and Olympics with meaningful extra income simply by being physically present and useful. So what's the actual lesson here? It's not really about the World Cup. The World Cup is just the example. The real lesson is about how most people relate to opportunity. They treat it like a television show, something to watch, admire, maybe feel slightly jealous of, and then forget about when normal life resumes. But wealthy people, or more precisely, people who build wealth over time, have a different mental model. They see a concentrated event, a demand spike, an emotional crowd, and they immediately ask one question. What do these people need, and can I provide it? That is, at its most basic level, what business is. Not a complex system, not a strategy taught in MBA programs. Just find where demand outpaces supply and show up with something to offer. The FIFA World Cup 2026 is not just a sporting event. It is a multi-billion-dollar demand shock arriving at a specific set of cities at a specific time. The schedule is public. The host cities are known. The fan behavior is historically documented. The information advantage is zero. Everyone has access to the same facts. The only variable is who acts on them. Here's what you can do right now, and I mean this week, not someday. If you have a spare room or space, research Airbnb hosting requirements for your nearest host city. Listings that are live early perform better in search. If you have a car, look up Turo and understand what peak event pricing looks like in your market. If you're drawn to merchandise or print on demand, start experimenting with designs now. The best sellers in any niche aren't made in a rush. They're tested quietly before the wave hits. If you want the simplest, lowest risk option, start watching Indeed for event staffing postings in host cities. Applications open months in advance, and early applicants get first pick of shifts and roles. The common thread in all of this is the same. Action taken before the crowd realizes it's time to move. That's not luck. That's positioning. There's an old saying in economics. When there's a gold rush, don't mine for gold. Sell the shovels. The FIFA 2026 World Cup is the gold rush. But here's the thing. In this version of the story, you can mine and sell shovels. You can rent your room, sell merchandise, work a temporary job, and serve tourists all in the same 6 weeks. The window is real. The demand is coming. And for once, you have the luxury of knowing it's coming in advance. The question isn't whether this opportunity exists. The question is whether, 6 weeks after the final whistle, you're going to be the person who watched or the person who showed up. That decision starts now.